Good morning, everybody. I have got, trying to get pulled out here without getting killed. I've got a little bit of a drive ahead of me this morning, and I just wanted to get on here and talk about a couple things I've seen kind of circulating on the stick shift pages on Facebook here recently. Seems like a lot of chatter, conversation, controversy, whatever you want to call it. Guys going back and forth, talking about a lot of things, and that's great. I think I'm a fan of conversation. Street stick, I guess, versus, for lack of a better term, versus outlaw cars, synchronized transmissions versus faceplated stuff, or guys using the clutch between gear changes. But at the end of the day, it seems like a lot of the chatter is falling on the promoters, which I don't think's fair. There was a time a few years back I kicked around the idea for about 30 seconds of trying to put a race on, and that thought didn't last very long, and I'm glad it didn't. Promoters seem to get kicked around quite a bit about rules, and not just in our stuff, in all stuff. I guess that's just the nature of the beast. And yeah, I'm a little partial to the rule set we've had with our local races. When I say local, I'm talking Shadyside for the most part. We've had pretty much the same rules package for 3 or 4 years now, I think. I mean, obviously, guys are getting faster, a lot faster. The cars have gotten exponentially faster just in the last 3, 4, 5 years. It's gotten pretty ridiculous, honestly. But hey, that's what we do. We're all racers. We all want to go faster, and we're going to do what we can to make that happen. And whether it's shifting without the clutch, or making more horsepower, or getting your cars lighter, we're all going to do everything we can do to make that happen. And there's currently a pretty big divide time-wise between the outlaw cars that are running mid to high fours in the 8th mile, and the street cars that, for the most part, I mean, and there's some street cars out there. Actually, there's probably several running in the mid to high fives. My idea of street cars, anyway. There's always going to be the argument of what constitutes the difference, or what's the big difference between a street car and an outlaw car. And I've got my opinions of that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what my opinion is. The promoters set the races up, they make the rules for that race, and if you fit the rules, go race. If you don't. At this point, at least in my opinion, I think honestly, within 4 or 5 hours of where I am, there's probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 races this year we could take Alan's car to. And that's just stuff I'm thinking of off the top of my head. There's more than that, probably, especially with the stuff going on in Tennessee this year. So I don't think there's any shortage of races we can go to. For the last 3 or 4 years, there's probably more races happening a year than we can either afford to go to or have the time to go to, which is a good thing, because there was a day that was definitely not the case, and not too long ago. You may have had 3 or 4 races a year that you even had the opportunity to race at, unless you were willing to travel 8 or 10 hours, sometimes farther, depending on where you're coming from. So I guess, I don't know. The main thing I'm wanting to kind of share my opinion of is don't give these promoters too much of a hard time. I mean, I would love nothing more than to see everybody with the same rule set, and you can race up and down the East Coast and not have to change anything, and everybody's happy with the rules, which is never going to happen. But hey, perfect world, we can wish for something like that. I don't know. I've kind of always been to the mindset that when just for instance, when I had my Corvette, it was not a competitive car. I was at best a 620 or 630 car in the 8th mile. At the time, the fast guys were 550s, 560s in the 8th mile. So not a ton off, but 7/10 in an 8th mile that's a pretty good chunk. I can tell you from experience, somebody making a 550 pass sitting next to me looked like they were driving smooth out of my life at about the 60-foot mark. But that being said, if there was a race happening and my car was running, I was there. I made it to the finals a couple times, maybe just out of pure luck, who knows, but we always showed up and had a good time. And that's kind of what I think some people are losing with what's happening today. If they're not, or if they don't think they're competitive, or don't think they've got a chance to win, they don't want to go. I'm just gonna say this, guys, if there's a stick shift race going on and your car's running and you fit the rules, go race in it. Go have a good time, because at the end of the day, none of us are trying to make a living running a stick shift car. We do this because it's our passion and we love it, and that's how we choose to spend our money, whether that's very wise or not. It's what we enjoy doing. Go have a good time. Come hang out with us, because I can promise you, whether we go out in the first round or we're going to the final round, we're having a good time. We're having fun, hanging out with some of the coolest people I've ever met, and I'm talking about outside of our team. All the guys from Florida, there's not one of them I don't call my friend or enjoy talking to. Same with the guys from Tennessee, the guys South Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky, all the guys from up there. And when we first started chatting with these folks, it wasn't very friendly. There was a bunch of shit talking, and there still is. But once we've gotten to know these guys, a bunch of the Florida guys came up to Shadyside for a big race, 4 or 5 years ago now, and a few of them still do. Alan and John Boy and I go down to Florida at least once a year, and sometimes twice a year, to hang out with the Florida guys. We've not had a chance to take a car down there yet. That will be changing in either this year or next year. I know Alan wants to take his car down there at least once. I'm for sure going to be taking my car down once it's together and running, possibly a couple times a year. But that's just what I want to do with it. Some of the guys from up in Kentucky came down for a streetcar takeover event at Charlotte 3 or 4 years ago, and that's kind of where we all made the introduction face to face to begin with. And again, bunch of super cool guys. I mean, we all are pretty much chat back and forth on a weekly basis in this entire broad stick shift family. And 99% of the guys in this deal are just super cool guys. So at the end of the day, guys, come hang out with us, come race with us, come have a good time. It's not about, and I know, hell, all of us want to win. That's why we put the cars together. That's what we want to do. But at the end of the day, it's about having fun and hanging out with good people and just having a good time. So do that. Don't wrap it all up in, if I'm not winning, I'm not having a good time. Because I'm here to tell you, if that's your mindset, you're not very often, for the most part, and there's some guys out there that win a lot of races, but for the most part, if you having a good time stick shift racing is tied to you winning every race, you're not going to be very happy. And I think more people got to get their head around that, because that's just the facts of life. Anyhow, my thoughts, my 2 cents for the morning. Y'all have a good weekend, and we'll see you soon.